Welcome back to the channel, and today we're talking Transformers, and most specifically Bumblebee the movie, which is set for release in December of 2018. And today we're talking about the future of the Transformers live action universe and the ending of Bumblebee the movie. Now, we all know when it comes to Bumblebee the movie, there's been this constant debate around if this is a prequel or a reboot. And we still have that right now. And I think initially this was supposed to be a prequel to Michael Bay's 2007 Transformers film. And the idea was just to give, the origins of how Bumblebee landed on Earth. And I think that was it. So it was going to be a prequel. If you ask Travis Knight, he says it's a standalone movie. He doesn't want to say if it's a prequel or if it's a reboot, and he said you have to ask the studio that question. So I think as well he's quite tight-lipped, because I think it depends on how well Bumblebee the movie does. And because Bumblebee the movie has given a different take on the Transformers live action universe, something very different to what we've had with Michael Bay, it's built momentum. The fandom have got behind this film. The critics have become less critical because they see there's a change. And with that, Paramount Pictures is thinking there's an opportunity. And if there's an opportunity, then it means there could be more Transformers films in the pipeline. And that could mean another Bumblebee spin-off, a second Bumblebee 2, or maybe another Transformer gets their own film. So for example, Optimus Prime, because Lorenzo de Bonaventura has said he's open to both a Bumblebee 2 or an Optimus Prime movie. And I guess it does come back to how successful Bumblebee is. Currently the hype for it is real. Everybody seems to be looking forward to it, apart from that little blip with Blitzwing and the naming of that Decepticon. Everything else has been positive. And it got me thinking about the detail that we've heard about the film and how this film could end to lead to something else. And I was thinking, with the fact that we're gonna go to the Transformers home planet Cybertron, we're gonna see cameos from the likes of Shockwave, Soundwave and the Autobots in Cliffjumper. There is a real cool opportunity for an end credit scene. I really think there is. And it does depend on what part or what time we are at with the Cybertronian War. Is it going to be featured at the start? Is it going to be mid-Cybertronian War? Or is it going to be at the end of the Cybertronian War? Because obviously that war is going to run parallel to whatever Bumblebee is doing on Earth, as he has his battles with Shatter and Dropkick and Blitzwing going on Cybertron. Is either going to be the war starting or ending, or just throughout. So with that being the case, I thought that this is my idea anyway, and it is simply that, an idea. But I thought, if let's say we're reaching the end of the Cybertronian War, Bumblebee has completed his mission, he's evaded Shatter and Dropkick and Blitzwing, and you think that's it, that's the film. You have a moment with Bumblebee and Charlie. Maybe B is gonna go on to his next venture, which means he would separate from Charlie, maybe not, but it's a victorious ending because Bumblebee has evaded the Decepticons who have been hunting him down. Maybe he's taken out a couple of them, but that's the way the film sets up for the end. But that's not quite all, because at this point, because you think, it's a heroic ending, Optimus Prime then communicates from Cybertron to Bumblebee. There's talk that he will be a G1 hologram at a point, so maybe that's used to communicate with B from Cybertron. And he tells B the war is over. The Cybertronian war is over. Again, feels like a historic, heroic moment for the film and a perfect ending. But it's not quite that, because although the Cybertronian war is over, the war between the Autobots and the Decepticons has consumed the planet. Now that means that the planet is unable to be inhabited, or it's just in rubble, ruins. You know, you've got the death of multiple Autobots and Decepticons, and everything that the Transformers has built have been destroyed. So it could then set up Optimus Prime coming to Earth, or how he gets to Earth from that point if they wanted to do an Optimus Prime spin-off. Or they leave it at that. They let it lie that the war is over, but the Transformers now no longer have a planet. The war consumed the planet. And the film kind of finishes on that somber note. So there's the heroics of Bumblebee, the emotion that the war is over, but then what's gonna come next? So you're left with that thought. And then you get the credits, and then you get an end credit scene. And this is what I think would be very cool. So Prime has told us that the war consumed the planet. So you just see, you know, maybe the rubble, the burning, fire, the destruction of Cybertron. You see Autobots and Decepticons in the ruins of the destroyed planet. And then you hear the mechanical steps, and it's a Decepticon. And you hear them steps, and then the camera pans to an Autobot, maybe Cliffjumper, or an unknown Autobot who is suffering, you know, battle damaged, but not dead just yet, trying, needs help. But you hear these mechanical steps. And then, as the Autobot that's struggling sees who this is, there becomes panic. Panic and worry. And all of a sudden, you hear the cannon blast, and it would be a trademark cannon blast. And the camera pans up from that Autobot who has been destroyed, and you see a familiar look, a G1 look. And that Decepticon turns to the camera, and it is Megatron. He doesn't say anything, he just looks in that G1 form. Maybe his eyes flare up, and then boom. So that kind of ending would lead you with a wow, because there's so many things that Paramount Pictures could do next with the Transformers live action universe. And I think that's what they need to work towards, to build that suspense that, you know, this is just the beginning of a brand new take on Transformers. And my idea might not be the greatest idea, I never claimed it was, but I think something like that would do it. And I want to get your views and opinions in the comments section below. How would you build up on Bumblebee the movie? How would you like the film to end to set up the future of the Transformers live action universe? The way that I came at it from my angle was that you have the victory of Bumblebee. You know, he has evaded the Decepticons on Earth. He's maybe defeated a couple of Decepticons. He doesn't have to defeat them all. It's just a case that he has beaten maybe Shatter and Dropkick, and Blitzwing has fled the scene. But that means it's a victory for Bumblebee, and that is capped off with Optimus Prime communicating with B and telling him the Cybertronian war is over. So you think it's all good. And if this was just a standalone film, I'd say it finishes there. But if Paramount Pictures want to take it further and go forward, then Optimus Prime delivering the message that the war is over. However, it's not a victory for the Autobots. The war has consumed the planet. It just kind of gets you thinking, well, what's next for the Transformers? What's next for Optimus Prime? Can they live on Cybertron still? Is Prime going to have to come to Earth? You know, it really gets you thinking. And then to throw in an end credit scene with Megatron, the big surprise, because there's been no detail about the Decepticon leader throughout the build to this movie. To get that end credit scene with Megatron blowing an Autobot away with his cannon and then looking at the camera, and then the film just blacks out, it's just going to lead to tons of speculation, tons of hype. You know, where is the Transformers live action movie going next? So it ends it on the perfect cliffhanger, because there's so many routes to go down. So I want to get your views and opinions on this in the comment section below. What do you think of my idea? Would that be something you'd like to see? What would your idea be? If you could end Bumblebee the movie to build to something else in the Transformers live action universe, what would you do? What would your theory, what would your story be? And if you had that end credit scene, how would it work? Tell me, visualize it, put it in the comments section, and I would love to see your ideas, and they may very well be featured in another video on my YouTube channel, because I think that would be a great discussion point actually, to discuss your theories and ideas from what you think could happen at the close of Bumblebee the movie to set up the future of the Transformers live action universe. Because I definitely believe there is so much that Paramount Pictures could do. I think we barely scratched the surface with Michael Bay's live action universe. It was just big blockbuster after big blockbuster, and that's not to say that I disliked it. You know, I enjoyed what Michael Bay created. I felt towards the end it got a little lackluster, but I think that this model, where you focus on standalone Transformers films or stories from a Transformers past, or focusing on building a universe where Transformers entwine and it builds to a bigger movie, is the perfect setup for the Transformers. So get involved, and all that's left to be said is please rate, comment and subscribe. This is Delzinski signing out.